You know that feeling, right? You're stuck in traffic, just wishing the lights would sort themselves out. Or you're wondering why the city can't figure out when the trash bins are actually full. Well, that's exactly where the idea of smart cities comes in. And this isn't some far-off sci-fi concept. It's a real-world, data-driven solution to the frustrations of urban life. We're going to break down how connecting our cities is making them way more efficient, sustainable, and frankly, just better places to live. So, what are we really talking about when we say smart city? Think of the city itself as a living, breathing organism. A smart city is what gives that organism a central nervous system. It's all about weaving a complex web of sensors, data analytics, and networks into everything. The power grid, the traffic lights, public transit, you name it. This lets the city actually feel, understand, and then react to problems as they happen, in real time.
And this isn't just technology for technology's sake. Not at all. It's a direct response, an answer to the incredible pressures that are pushing our modern cities to the brink. I'm talking about the daily gridlock that literally chokes our streets, the massive energy consumption that strains our resources, and the ever-growing environmental footprint that comes from cramming millions of us into one place. Smart cities are, in a way, how we're starting to fight back.
All right, so let's dive into the first big area where this tech is a total game changer: intelligent traffic control, or intelligente Verkehrssteuerung. For most of us, this is probably the most visible part of a smart city, the part that impacts our daily commute. I mean, nobody likes traffic, but the sheer scale of the problem is just staggering. It's not just an inconvenience. It's a massive drain on our time, our money, and the planet. We're talking about billions of hours wasted, tons of extra emissions being pumped into the air from idling cars, and just a constant grinding pressure on our roads and bridges. So this is where things get really clever. Imagine it's like a citywide conversation happening every second. You've got sensors and cameras that act as the city's eyes, constantly monitoring the flow of vehicles. All that information gets fed into a central brain that uses real-time analytics to tell the traffic lights to adapt on the fly. No more rigid preset timers. And then, with V2X, or vehicle-to-everything communication, the cars themselves start talking to the traffic lights, to each other, to everything. It creates this incredibly responsive, intelligent urban ecosystem. And the result of all this? Well, it's not just theoretical. The outcome is a real, measurable drop in traffic jams. That directly translates to fewer emissions and a much smoother, less stressful way for all of us to get around. Okay, so moving beyond the roads, smart cities are also tackling another massive challenge: our energy consumption. This is all about nachhaltige Energieoptimization, or sustainable energy optimization. It's about using data to build a smarter, greener, and much more resilient power system. And the absolute hero in this part of the story is the smart grid. You see, the old power grid was a one-way street. Power flowed from a plant to your house, and that was it. A smart grid, on the other hand, is a two-way superhighway for both energy and information. It lets the utility company not only send power out, but also get constant, real-time feedback from every home, every business, giving them precise control over the whole system. So how does it actually work? Well, it starts with smart meters in our homes, which give a live picture of energy use. That data lets the grid manage the load, last management, so it can prevent blackouts during peak hours. That stability is also absolutely essential for properly integrating renewable energy sources like solar and wind. And finally, smart buildings themselves get in on the act, automatically dimming lights or adjusting the AC when the grid is under strain. It's like a perfectly coordinated dance between supply and demand. And the payoff here is huge. First, we get much more efficient use of our natural resources, which is obviously critical in the fight against climate change. And for us, individually, it leads to real, tangible savings on our energy bills. So it's a win for the planet and a win for your wallet. Okay, but this hyper-connected city, a city that knows where you're driving, how you're getting there, how much energy you're using, well, that brings us to the elephant in the room. We have to talk about the flip side of all this connectivity, the Schattenseite, or the shadow side, data privacy. This is really the central question, the one that the entire smart city concept hinges on. When you're collecting these massive quantities of personal, sensitive data every single second of every day, how on earth do you build a system that is secure, that respects privacy, and that people actually trust? And this is the tightrope every smart city has to walk. On one side, you have this incredible promise of efficiency, sustainability, and a better quality of life. But on the other side, you have the very real and frankly chilling dangers, the misuse of our data, cyber attacks that could cripple city infrastructure, or even just a lack of transparency that leads to a surveillance state. This quote right here just says it all. Trust is the key. Without acceptance from the population, digital transformation cannot succeed. That is the bottom line. You can have the most advanced, most brilliant technology in the world, but it's completely useless if people don't trust it. Without public confidence, which can only be built on rock-solid data protection and total transparency, the smart city dream just stays a dream. So, with that really critical piece of the puzzle in mind, let's shift from theory to practice. Let's take a look at how some of the leading cities around the world are actually putting these ideas to work right now. What's so fascinating when you look at these examples is that there's no single blueprint for a smart city. Everyone's doing it a bit differently. Barcelona, for instance, has focused on using sensors for very specific things, like smart lighting and waste management. Singapore has gone for a very top-down, smart nation approach with a big focus on centralized data analysis. Then you have Copenhagen, which is all in on sustainable mobility and cutting CO2, while Zurich is leading the way on energy efficiency and using open data platforms to spark innovation. But when you look at all these different strategies, there's one core factor, one principle that ties them all together. And it's this: the technology has to serve the citizens, not the other way around. The real test of whether a technology is smart isn't how complex it is, but whether it actually makes life better for the people who live there. At the end of the day, a smart city isn't just a tech project. It's really a vision for a better way to live together in our urban spaces. But as we've seen, that livable city of the future is only going to happen if we can keep three essential things in perfect balance: cutting-edge innovation, true environmental sustainability, and an absolute, non-negotiable commitment to protecting our data.